everyone. Welcome to Recovery in Action. We're so glad that you've joined us today on this beautiful spring day. And we're so glad today that we have Charmin Gabbard with us. She is doing the most, I tell you. She's always doing something in the community. We're so glad to have her a part of this community, and we all work together striving to help people in recovery. Because I can tell you, there is hope in recovery. Never give up. As long as there's breath in their body and you can talk to them, you can pray for them, there's always hope. And I just want to tell you, meetings have changed a lot in the last year since COVID. So there's a lot of information that there is to give you about meetings, but the best way, we was talking about this, Charmin and I was before the show, is probably contact the meeting place or the meeting chairperson so you can actually get the Zoom, because you can Zoom the meetings now, or some of them you can attend in person. We still have Better Days on Monday evenings, and they have moved actually downtown on Central Avenue, close to where Charmin's going to be with the cafe. And then Brianna's Hope is on Tuesday evenings, and that's still at Cross Point Biker Church. And on Monday nights also, they're having the anxiety meeting with Linda Long up at the Community Gospel Church on Erie Avenue. And that's a great meeting if you struggle with anxiety. And then on Wednesday evenings, they have, I think that's the AA. And then Thursday evenings, there's a meeting. I think it's NA or AA also. And then Friday nights, they have NA. Saturday night is Brianna's Hope with Pastor Frank. And so there's something going on almost every night of the week. So and then on Sunday, I always encourage, to find a local church, on Sunday morning or Sunday evening. And we're excited to announce that coming up in around the 1st of October, we're opening Amy Hicks, the program director at the House of Ruth, and Growing Branches for Christ has collaborated, and they are bringing back Celebrate Recovery. And we're in the step studies right now, and we're very excited about that. So we're going to be able to offer a variety of different groups at one setting. So everyone's going to be invited to that. And but we have a lot going on in the community. People are getting help every day. There's opening, that's what we're going to talk about with Charmin. There's people that are, she's opening up a cafe just for people to come and be educated, to get help, harm reduction. There's so much that's going on in the community. Just because everyone has been silent for a little bit doesn't mean things have stopped happening. So we just want you to know that we're excited about what's going on in Connorsville. So, and the surrounding areas also. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce, as everyone probably knows her anyway, Charmin Gabbard. So welcome, Charmin. And I know you've been very busy trying to get the cafe open. So tell us what's going on.
Thank you, Sharon. A long time ago, in 2015, when Fayette County had the approximately 30 overdoses within that 30 days, and I forget how many lives were lost. At that time, I was in a very dark place in my life, and I knew, I just knew one day that Connorsville would have that opportunity to turn that around, and I've always felt that eventually we're going to be known for a recovery community.
Absolutely.
And I believe that wholeheartedly still. With harm reduction and what we've been doing in this past year, so many exciting opportunities have come our way. And it's not just harm reduction, but we've had so much community support, and
Yes.
and I have to talk about, like, with Reed and Meridian Family Services and Prevention Programs out of Shelbyville that support us tremendously, and working with a team from Indiana University, I had the opportunity to go to DC last year, and I was asked if I wanted to do anything, what would it be? And I was like, to have that connection, that pro-social space where people could come to that struggle, and not just substance use. I'm like mental health issues or just loneliness, depression. I truly think we all struggle with something. And then there's those moments where we're just having that bad day where maybe we don't want to talk to anyone, but we want to be around someone.
Right.
So we're about 3 weeks out, I think, from opening the doors of the Connection Cafe. So what will be is it'll be set up kind of like an internet cafe. And Frank Oakman, again, another community supporter.
He's great.
Love him, love him.
He's great.
We're working with him, and we'll be seeing how he can help supply the coffee for the cafe, but it will truly be a space that you can walk into, and it will look exactly like a cafe. But the services won't be food focused. It'll be peer support services. We will probably be having NAMI support, National Alliance of Mental Illness. And then I want to offer parenting cafes and recovery cafe support. And the biggest thing is that it's going to be a judgment-free, stigma-free zone. So I don't care what your pathway looks like. I do want to offer you support.
Absolutely.
And then our main hours will be Fridays, Saturdays, Sundays, and we're looking at 4 to 10 on Friday and Saturday. That space where people can come to, and we will be running card games on Friday night, or we'll have someone come in, and if their talent's singing, then we want to showcase their talent. If they have artwork, then we want them to be able to come and put that on display, poetry, or just share their story.
It's just encouragement.
That's it.
I mean, and and Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, a lot of people in recovery dread the weekend, because you and I know as well. I mean, that's a trigger. What am I going to do? Where am I going to go? Who can I talk to? Where can, and now you're giving them that opportunity. And even like having, the, what do you call it, open mic night or something,
Right.
I mean, what fun. I mean, that is so much fun.
And so we have a lot of opportunity ahead. So I've been supported by this community, and I was that person at one point. There were many doors closed, and I wasn't given opportunity because of my substance use disorder, or I was called that drug seeker. I now know that we're dealing with a chronic illness, and without support, like, our people will die. And so what I want to do is give them the same opportunities that's been given to me.
Absolutely.
This is not my program. This is a community hub, and it'll be a community program supported by multiple community members. And so I want people that struggle or have struggled to be able to come and say, I want to be a recovery coach, and I want to help them be linked to those services. We have an opportunity to provide training for a few recovery coaches to come and get their certification and work in the cafe. And then what I want to do is be able to link them to other services so that they can spread their wings and fly.
Absolutely.
I want someone to come behind me and take my job. That's what I want.
And that's good leadership. That's very good leadership, because that's what you set things up, but it doesn't mean you'll always be there, but you're going to train someone to just go right in and take over. But so, like, what you're doing is, where is it going to be located?
We have a great location. It's 635 North Central Avenue, right on the corner across from Family Video. And I can't go without mentioning, again, more community support. So I had the idea, but the construction workers, and they're the ones that's making this thing come to life. I have had support from Cross Point, and then now Calvary Baptist. They have a connection group that's stepped up and wanting to support our efforts. Lad Painting, they've came in and done the painting. Sam Maggard, he has purchased lights, and he's gotten construction workers to come in and do things. It's going to be absolutely beautiful. There's going to be a rock. There's rock on the wall under the benches, and the coffee bar will be all rock. A gentleman out of Laurel, his name is Stan Lomelli, that's doing that, and then Alan and Melissa Weber have stepped up and just took over and just said, this is what needs to be done, and this is how it's got to happen. And then I've had my kids in there, and just Sarah. So just so many people. I say it's going to be like a mosaic of just everyone's different talents and skills, and donating their time. And you've offered some of the ladies from the House of Ruth to come and help, and that's what I want it to be. I had a dream, and everyone's making it happen. It might have been my dream, but everyone's making it come to life.
Yeah, when we have those visions and then we see the fruition and it just come into place, it's amazing, and just to see what God can do with what we think, and then He places people to put into action what we need to happen. It's amazing.
I couldn't do it without the community support, and I mean, it was a year ago. It was just a want to, and now seeing it be built and come to life. We will also, so harm reduction will still be a big part of the cafe,
and it's going to be located there also.
It will be. We'll be moving out of Meridian, and so there will be a harm reduction office, which will be separate from the cafe, and so that can be accessed off of the side street. If there's someone wanting to, have services that don't want to walk through the cafe, they'll be able to use the side door, come in and out and get Narcan or safer sex supplies or whatever through the side door. We'll also offer HIV and Hep C testing on certain days of the week.
That's what I was going to say. So now the harm reduction will be open like it is now, probably, right? On certain days?
It will be.
Yeah.
We'll still have hours, because knowing that the cafe is open, and what we don't want to do is, I don't want to trigger someone else with harm reduction services that they don't understand why, or they're in a different space, and that's okay. We will be harm reduction focused. So when I say that, I will encompass all pathways of recovery in the cafe, and we won't focus on clean time. We'll just focus on today, and we'll help people with those safety plans and look at what their pathway is and how can we help you get to where you want to be. What are your goals? That's
what
it.
What can we do for you?
Yep.
Yeah, so many times they're so used to people saying, what can they do for, how can I get from them? And this is all about what you can do for them, and that's awesome.
I think as we change the mindset of recovery, and of course I have a way that I think it should be done, but my way's not always right. And so when we start, where do you want to be? Because some people may want a college education, and some people may want to go work in a factory. So instead of me saying, this is what I think you should do, then let me see where I can meet you truly right where you're at.
Or just ask them a simple question. Have you ever thought about, doing this? A lot of people, when they're in, active use, they're not thinking of what they want to do. They're thinking what they're having to do at the moment, and if have you ever thought about getting, going to a detox center? Have you ever thought about, maybe going into a recovery home? Have you ever thought about going, and it gets them thinking sometimes, because they're probably thinking, well, I'll never be able to do that, and they can. We're living proof that can happen. So
I think motivational interviewing is huge.
Yes.
And when we learn those skills, it brings out something. I know that for me, a college education was never something I dreamed of having. I mean,
look at you now.
Like, God has been so good. But when you're told you're worthless or that you're dumb or that you'll never amount to anything, like that
You
voice
believe it.
inside of your head, like you don't strive to do more or to be better, because if I can't, I can't. If it's not there for me, it's not there for me. So I think as we start to change the language and use more person first language and just pouring into people, that those positive affirmations are life changing.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. That's what I say at the House of Ruth. You pour into them. You know, you show them what they can be, not what they have been or what they are, because it's all about what they want and what they can become. We were talking about that before we came down here, because there's a couple girls that are going to be in the next recovery coach class. And you know, and we're because those are areas, you know, the peer-to-peer, that is so important, because it's such a motivation for people and inspiration for them to see, you know, how you were in active use, and then now, you know, you're all about trying to help people, and that is a big deal in people's lives.
It's huge.
And
it's life changing. I agree with you.
Yes, it is. So like in the cafe, because there's going to be internet, they can get on. Like laptops. Are you going to have laptops there? Do they have to have their own? How does that work? Like if they need to do job searching or something like that, will someone be there to help them?
It's a great question. So we will have laptops or computers there in the cafe. Another support that we have received is Purdue. They were here in the community for a while, and so there's some funding there, and they're going to provide support for laptops in addition to our corp funding. Right. So we will be purchasing computers for the cafe, people that can, you know, they can come in and use their own, and then we'll have peer supports. But I also want to network with other people. We want to show people how to build a job resume or to do that job search, and so that's what peers will do. We'll have volunteers in the cafe. And then another big area that my heart is truly with corrections. And I want to help people leaving corrections to be able to connect those dots. We will be able to help people with funding to take the taxi to a meeting. And if they don't have an ID, then I want to be that address where they can send their ID to. Right. People don't realize the barriers that someone starting over. Like if you don't have a pair of shoes to wear for a job interview, you don't have it. Yeah. And so those are things that a lot of people don't realize, even like to get to a probation appointment. So they leave the system. It's expected for them to go to community community mental health centers to get a job, pay fines and fees, and also child support. So there's all of these expectations with no driver's license and no support system. So that's it. We just want to be, how can I help you? And if we can't provide it, someone in this community can and are willing to.
And want to.
Yeah.
They're like, how can I help? And that's a lot of what we do at the House of Ruth, because those barriers are major. Those are big barriers. And to someone else, they may think, so they don't have an ID. Well, do you realize the stuff you cannot do unless you have a state ID or a driver's license? You can't get a job. Right. You can't go to school. You can't, food stamps you can't get. I mean, there's so many barriers, and a lot of people, but and they don't even realize they can get it for free. Just having that understanding of knowing what to do, where to go, and how to get these things accomplished.
And then if you don't have a permanent address, then you can't get the ID because you have to have an address to get it sent to.
Yeah, and a P.O. box will not work.
Nope.
You have to have a residential or some type of address like that. Yeah, absolutely.
So it's really just about breaking down those barriers, and every day my goal is to learn to love people better. How can I love people better? Yes. That's it.
That's awesome. That is awesome. And then, and we're getting ready and I want you to know this, we're getting ready to open a retail store. Did you know that?
Well,
On
Kathy,
30th
I
Street?
heard that's exciting. That's
Yes.
especially with a house full of women.
Yeah. Well, but it's not just for. It's going to be called Reinventions Boutique and Decor. So it's going to have. We are like redoing furniture. We're going to have men, women's, children's clothing. So when you were talking about people not having clothes for job interviews and stuff, I want to be a part of that.
Awesome.
I want them to be able to, because that's a big deal at the House of Ruth too. Because I'm a stickler on this. Is how you should look. This is what you should do. There used to be there was a, I guess you call it a group or something that was called Dress for Success.
I'm
You
familiar
remember
with
that?
it.
Yes, and I used to help with that. And when you go for a job interview, there's it's according to what job you're going for, but you have to be dressed for the part of the job that you're wanting. And a lot of people, and like you said, they may not have shoes. They may not have a pair of nice slacks or dress pants or something like that. All jobs you cannot wear jeans to. But having that understanding and knowing, and like going to court. I mean, the proper attire to, to go to court, the proper attire to wear to your attorney, and people don't think about that stuff.
You just don't know what you don't know. And
Yeah.
if a lot of times our lifestyles are generational, and when you enter recovery, like I talk different today. I walk different. I walk with my head held high, and I dress different than what I would have 5 years ago. And so I think recovery is just that ever evolving into like, who do I want to be? And there's no barrier with that. Like you can be whoever you want to be. Just whatever you set your mind to do, you can do it.
You can do it.
And I know that today, and I believe that. But with support, we all need support, and we all need that cheerleader, and back to the recovery coach piece. That's the greatest job ever. Being a recovery coach and getting to meet someone where they're at and just encourage them, that's the best job ever. It really is.
Absolutely. Now, when is your target date to open? I know you can't give us an exact, but kind of, what is kind of the target?
So I hope to have the doors open that first week of May. And if before then, great. If, so the first week of May, into the perfect season of being warm. People will be out walking and...
Good. So are there positions available? I know you said that you were going to have trainings. Are there positions open for recovery coaches, or how is that working?
So we will soon be looking for another recovery coach. Or if the person is not trained, then we have an opportunity to train them. And so that's something to the administrative side of things, isn't something I enjoy by far. Policies and procedures, and then we're looking at what that person and the requirements for someone to have that position. So again, back to being harm reduction focused, I will encompass all pathways of recovery with the coaches that we train and hire for the cafe.
Right. Now, do you have guidelines and stuff that you go by from the other recovery cafes that have opened across Indiana? There really isn't that many yet. So I know they're opening more now, but is that how you kind of modeling after them, or is this kind of how you wanted it to be?
So that's a great question. So in recovery cafes, the model of a recovery cafe is a very set structure, and their requirements are very set in stone. And so we will be more like a drop-in center versus a recovery cafe, because sometimes it's not very. Sometimes people aren't very accepting of someone that is still in active use. And so I want to accept that person that's in active use with open arms and support them. Because truthfully, the person that's still in active use needs just as much support as the person that's 6 months in recovery,
Absolutely.
if not more.
Absolutely. So what will be the name of the cafe?
Connection Cafe.
Connection Cafe.
Yep.
Cool.
We want to reduce barriers, and we want to reduce the stigma and judgment that all individuals go through.
Yeah. Now there's getting ready to be a community cleanup also. What is the date of that? Do you remember?
April 21st.
Okay, and aren't they meeting at the Connection Cafe?
We will be. So there'll be, I think, maybe Carolyn McQueen will be at the cafe to hand out trash bags, and we'll have water there. So it'll be a drop-in center to be able to just come in and bring back, anything that someone finds. We'll provide sharps disposal containers, the grabbers to pick up trash and stuff like that, trash bags, gloves, masks if they want them. But we'll just be that center where people can stop by and pick up supplies before they go out. And we're looking for volunteers for that too.
Okay. So do they contact you, or who do they contact, Carol?
Myself, Carol McQueen, Jessica Burton, Holly, Chad Blaze, any of us.
So if there's any groups that wants to get with you, they can just get with you, and you'll tell them all the information.
Yeah, or they can stop by 635 North Central Avenue on April 21st from 10 to 6.
Okay. Okay, good. Good. And as I was saying earlier, this is something exciting that's happening in Connersville. This Connection Cafe is going to be a great, great support for our recovery community. And really, really get in. Stop in and see Charmin. Stop in and see, if there's needs that she has, if there's wants that she has. Maybe there's some way that you can contribute to with what she's doing, because it's very important that we support what each of us are doing in this community and work together, because no one is a standalone. We can't do anything by ourselves. And it's a lonely place to be by yourself. So
our theme is really together we rise, and so the phoenix will be our logo, reborn from ashes, to come back wiser and stronger than ever.
Absolutely. That's awesome.
So I think it's very fitting, especially the paths that some of us walk, and to know that, we can, and it's together. None of us can do this alone.
No.
We all need each other's support.
Yeah.
And yesterday I received a plaque from Overdose Lifeline. And through that, just the journey, thinking about, there have been lives saved, but it wasn't my doings. It started with Gary Naylor and pushing for us to be able to have the harm reduction program reinstated, and then going back to Dr. White and Paula Maupin and 6 years ago when the struggle happened. So it's together. It's a togetherness. You might not see somebody that's working in recovery, but behind the scenes they're pushing and
absolutely.
And the behind the scenes is so exhausting and so overwhelming.
Yes.
People that get to provide direct services, really, they get the best part of it, I think.
Absolutely, absolutely. And then I want everyone to know also, we were talking about the retail store earlier, and we are getting ready. And like I was telling Charmin, we're wanting to open around May 1st. Also, I don't know if it's going to be the exact day of May 1st, but we're wanting to open around the 1st of May. And again, it's going to be called Reinvention Boutique and Decor, and it's going to be at 326 West 30th Street. And it's a lot of it is donations. It is stuff that people have given us, and with their permission. Anything that we don't use, we were giving to another local nonprofit organization here in town. And I told my husband, I said, instead of giving it to them to make money, why don't we use it for the House of Ruth and create an income and a job skill for the women at the House of Ruth, because we will train them to work in retail. And they've been helping set it up. So they're literally starting from scratch, setting up a retail store, plus, helping with the work. learning how to redo furniture, price items. So it's actually been a good teaching example also. But we just want you to know that we thank everyone in the community so much. And thank you for being a part. Thank you for tuning in today in Recovery in Action. And goodbye.